Gen Z, I think, is a lot different is they don't mind doing the hard work.
This is the time where all the young men and women are graduating from college right now. And I had a conversation at one of these parties with my niece's boyfriend, who was a double E from A&M. I was like, good for you. I was like, have you got a job? Right? Are you set? Like, he was, yeah, I've got it all lined up. I'm doing an internship with this big company, and hopefully they'll turn that into a full-time job. And I was like, okay, so what are your options? He goes, I don't know. When I get there, they're just going to kind of tell me the different options I have. I was like, you should probably do some research and try to figure out, because if you don't come up with what you really want to be interested in that double E, they're going to put you where they need you, which may not be the best place for you to go in 5 or 10 years, all because you didn't look.
That is actually something we have done horrible. It was about 15 years ago. I was calling around a bunch of people in Austin, tracing everybody in social media. Used to be a social media headhunter when that was a thing. And I would talk to these kids, and if I ask you a question, Mark, what do you want to do in your next job? That's a pretty standard question. When I asked these kids that, they would be all chatty and happy because a headhunter called them and they're talking about what they're doing. What do you want to do in your next job, Caitlin and Bryce? And they'd be like, they'd freeze. And they'd quickly into the conversation and they would never call back. You do that about 70, 80 times. You're like, something's off here. The secret was instead asking, what do you want your next job to do for you? And that would open the floodgates, because they were taught, you go to school, you don't go to work. Well, only poor people go to work. You go to school, you go to work, you go to this club, you get the merit club, you graduate. And then because of your awesomeness, a company selects you and tells you what to do. We told them that was the case. And that was in the before 2008, when all those people came in. It was a very tough economy. It's hard to get those jobs. We trained people to not work till 22 or 25. And then we're surprised when they say things like, so let me get this straight. I've got to show up every day at the same time and make noodles the way you tell me with no autonomy. That doesn't seem like I want to do the strategy behind making noodles. It's actually a very famous old video they used to play at restaurants because we taught them that. And then we're surprised because we've slashed managers. So, I mean, a lot of it is reading our seed corn.
So I'm remembering the talent net that we went to when we had the robot.
Oh, yeah.
And you had the panel with the Zoomers. Is this like the generation you're talking about?
No, it was the millennials before that. So 10 years before that.
The Zoomers, the broad generalization was that they had to believe in the company's holisticness
right.
That was an interesting, is that still the case? It's
not at all.
Like 5 or 6 years.
That's just people who don't understand data making up surveys.
Okay.
It's like asking people every year. We ask, what company do you want to work for? This is going to surprise you. It's the most popular brands. It's not the most. It is literally what you know. Hey, which person are you going to vote for? The one I've heard of before. I mean, that literally is all that it is. Yeah. But the thing that they forgot that we were once told, where the Gen Z, I think, is a lot different is they don't mind doing the hard work. Millennials were told, don't do hard work. Go get your degree. You're an elite. You'll be better. Of course, that was just what we saw in the media. The people who fought in Afghanistan, they didn't have that. The ones who went to community colleges, the ones who were doctors, people who went out into the trades. It was just the people writing in social media and marketing in nice colleges and in nice schools that went into fortune, and it would show up in the mag. So we created this image of millennials that was based on rich kids living in cities who had nothing to do but write about their friends living in cities.
Yeah.
So we created this idea, and now, this is what millennials are like. And you're like, dude, they fought 2 wars. Of all the generations, they're the only ones there that still actually went out there. Those are big things. The Zoomers, like, the big difference for them is they came out and they're like, well, what's in it for me? I'll work hard, but don't tell me I need to do it to pay my dues. Because that was the thing, because it doesn't pay off because my dad lost his job. My grandpa lost his job. My grandmother's working 2 jobs at 71. Don't tell me I'm paying my dues when I'm competing with them for the same job. What am I going to learn? How are you going to treat me? What's going to happen? And that's where companies really focused on what's in it for you. That's where they started winning. And then there's a lot of really good college recruiting places, but it's nurses and engineers. What do you do if you did underwater basket weaving? What do you do if you were a history or English major? You know?
Right. Hey, thanks for watching The Merge. We've got a ton more stuff for you to watch on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok, everywhere. Check us out.